Alright, want to just do a quick video here today for my blueprint farming strategy that I've been working on, and I'm finally happy with where it's at with kind of strategy wise and getting things set up, because I'm trying to farm Replica Alberon's Warpath boots, and they are really rare, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the best way to get as many replica blueprints as possible, because there's a very good chance I may never even find them, even with strategies. But I think I've got a pretty good setup now, where at least given the current Scourge League availability of things, what seems to be probably the best way to go around blueprint farming. And it's not just for replica blueprints, like any blueprints this would essentially apply to. But there's a couple steps. It's not too complex, but I am trying to utilize as many things as I can to increase my chances of getting as many blueprints for my time as possible. You can see over on the left, I've got some kind of stats I've been keeping track of more recently. This isn't from like everything I've done so far, more of only since I started really locking in the strategy, but and it's not super relevant to the actual strategy itself, just interesting. So like up here, I've got this is how many smugglers caches I found doing my farming, and then how many blueprints and how many of them are replica blueprints. And smugglers cache is kind of like almost the primary way of getting blueprints, but actually not really. I am doing Lyra mapping with the heist nodes, but also the expedition nodes, and as you can see, I don't think it's supposed to be this way. I think I've had some weird RNG. I've actually found more expeditions since I started keeping track than smugglers cache, but assuming they're both the same baseline chance, the increased chance for expedition encounter is 9% bonus, and the increased chance for smugglers cache is 10% bonus. Plus, every watchstone I'm using is right now is increased chance for smugglers cache. So I should be finding actually considerably more of these, I think, than expeditions, but I don't know. So far, for some reason, that's not the case. It's actually the opposite. But either way, I have found 6 logbooks. I've ran a lot more logbooks, which is what's down here, because I had some other ones stockpiled, but this is the amount of blueprints versus how many logbooks I've run total. This is how many logbooks I've found since I started keeping track. So I found 6, but I had more. So I've run a total of 14 logbooks, and I've actually gotten 9 blueprints. Early on, it was getting close to like 1 blueprint per logbook average. I had a bit of a dry streak. I think it's going to end up being pretty close to 1 blueprint per logbook average. And I don't know. So far, they're actually easier to find. But those are the 2 ways I'm getting the blueprints. And then you just kind of have to hope that it's the right kind of blueprint for whatever you want. In my case, it's replica blueprints. But we don't stop there, because both of them actually take quite a while to find just 1 blueprint or 1 logbook. So what I've found is, although it's kind of limited supply, using both Einhar missions and Nico missions, we can increase our output of the logbooks and the blueprints. Einhar for the split beasts, which I recently ran through all my things. It's this split item in 2. So if I had a blueprint, I could use this, and then it makes a copy of it. They get the split tag, so you can only do it once per thing. But it's essentially giving me an extra blueprint for every blueprint I find. And these are, at least as you have, if you have missions, much faster to farm. I temporarily switched all my nodes in here to the Einhar ones, and I put some Einhar watchstones in, and I believe I had about 100 Einhar missions total, and I found 7 of these. I already used 2, so I found 9 of these, 9 split beasts over the course of a few hours of running through all those missions. So like 3 in an hour is much faster than the rate I was getting the other things. So those are used to make copies, and then also delving for fractured fossils, which I don't have any of. and that's taken a lot longer to get set up because you have to get deep enough to actually get a good amount of the fossils. I'm at around, I think, a little bit shy of 500, 460 right now, and I've started to find a few. You can see this is a special fossil node. This one's a special fossil node. They start becoming pretty common, I'd say around 400. There's another special fossil. That's a regular fossil. That's not anything special. But as I keep getting deeper, I'd like to get to like 600 or so. I think this character can handle it. The deeper the better. Long story short, fractured fossils, split beasts, make copies. However, there's a little bit more to it again, because for some reason, fractured fossils do not work on logbooks. They work on the blueprints. They do not work on logbooks. I don't know why. It might be a bug, because you can use the split beast on logbooks. So what I'm currently going to be doing is, if I get a good logbook, which is essentially either one that has Danig as like the currency type, I will make a copy of it. Or if it has one that has a extra chests mod, goes up to like 16 bonus chests, I'll make a copy of it, and I'll use the bestiaries for those, and then I'll use the fossils for the actual replica blueprints when I find them. And then all of that together should output as many blueprints as I think I can manage. And that's pretty much the whole thing. The only kind of, I guess, undecided bit is I've been kind of ping-ponging between doing T14 plus maps in Lyra versus doing 3 Watchstone, which is like T11 to T13. Because if I do these, they're way easier to sustain if I'm just running through. I don't want to full clear the maps. I have one here. I can kind of show how I've been running them. This one is a higher tier. It's a T16. I don't want a full clear. I just want to run through and check every part of the map to see if there's a smuggler's cache or an expedition. And I think I can maybe just barely sustain on T14 plus just doing Alk and Go this way. The lower tiers I can easily sustain, but the problem is the lower tier blueprints have a chance of only having 2 wings. Like the range of the wings is 2 to 4 instead of 3 to 4, which is obviously not as good. So if I can sustain these higher tiers, I would like to, because they are better, and I think that's what I'm going for. And then the delving I do should supplement quite a lot of maps. Yeah, this one didn't have anything. It had a harvest. I'll go back and get that later. But yeah, that's kind of how I want to clear them. Just running through like that and just looking more so than clearing. And just spam as many maps as possible. Get the logbooks and the blueprints, and then make copies of them. And then run those. And that's the whole thing. I don't know how many blueprints, like replica blueprints, I'll be expecting per hour. It's going to be less than 1 per hour. I know that. There's how many hours per replica blueprint. It's a slow farm. It's going to be rough because the item I want's really rare. But I think that's the best strategy that I've found for doing this. So if anybody else is like on SSF or just wants to farm their own stuff for whatever reason, yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it. And that's going to be my future on this character and probably my next character or 2 even. Yeah, thanks for watching. If the video is helpful, I will see you in the next one. Later.